Welcome to Learn It, a series of digital scrapbooking tutorials by Studio Wendy at Scrapbook Graphics. Today we're going to take a quick look at the Confetti Maker. It's a set of actions for turning any paper or papers in your stash into a little pile of confetti. Let's take a look at what comes in your download. Here you have your actions and your brush file for the CS or Creative Cloud editions of Photoshop. And in here, you have the Photoshop Elements version. In all the different versions here, you can find the actions, and then you have your ABR brush file right here. So you want to be sure that you install the brushes as well as the actions before you get started with this set. In Photoshop here, you'll see that I have loaded the actions. It's right here, the confetti scatter. It comes with an action for using 1 papers, 2 papers, or 3 papers. And then it comes with a trim or a shadow hiding action. And if you are a designer, you'll want to go ahead and use these trim or shadow hide actions that will help hide those exterior shadows around your elements, as well as trim them down to get rid of all that extra canvas. If you're using these as a scrapper, you can ignore those if you plan to just run the action and then take your confetti and pop it onto your layout. In addition, I've already loaded my brushes. If I go into the preset manager and scroll down to the bottom here, you'll see the brush WZ Confetti Scatter. And if I click over here on the brush panel or hit the B button to bring it up, I can click on the icon up here, scroll down, and make sure that that confetti scatter brush is selected. From here, let's go ahead and press play on the first action. We're going to start with the 1 paper one. We get a little message explaining that when the action's done, we will be able to paint a swipe of confetti on the blank layer. So go ahead and hit continue. And then you want to select your first paper. So I'm going to pick this one from the brand new Welcome Back Early Bird Studio Mix Kit. And then we get a message that the action is complete and we can go ahead and paint on this layer using that confetti scatter brush. So here's our blank layer. It says scatter, and all we have to do is click and drag across the page. Now you'll see if I grab my move tool, I can then actually move that confetti around to get whatever color from the paper that I want. Because in this particular paper, if I unclip it, you'll see we have some light areas, we have some pink areas, some dark purple areas, and depending on my scatter, I may want to pick up a little bit of a different color. So once I've selected the confetti area that I want to use, I can go ahead and run the trim action. So I'm going to press play on that, press continue, and then I'm prompted to save my file. So let's call this one Confetti1 and click Save. And there we go. Let's zoom in and look at that confetti. This is at actual size here, and you see just a fun little confetti scatter. Because this is just one line of confetti, there is no drop shadow on it. Now we're going to run the next action. Go ahead and close out of that. The 2 paper action, and this one will end up adding a drop shadow, and then if you run the hide shadow action, it will clip that shadow only to overlapping areas. So let's go ahead and run the 2 paper action, press continue. We're prompted to select 2 papers, so I'm going to pick 2 contrasting papers here. Press continue, and then with my brush selected, if it's not selected here, just hit the B button to grab it. And you can paint anywhere on these layers, and you can also paint in any direction. So if I wanted this scatter to go up, I could just click and drag up. I can also continue to click if I want an entire page full of confetti, and then I can click on the second layer and overlay a second set of that confetti on top of it. And let's go ahead and zoom in. And you'll see here that, let's add a white layer to the back so you can see. There we go. You'll see here that we do have a drop shadow on these confetti layers. I'm going to go ahead and run the hide shadow action to hide the shadow that is outside of the overlapping areas. So just press play on that. Then we're prompted to save it. I'm going to call this one Confetti 2. And let's zoom in here. And you'll see anywhere where one of our confetti overlies another confetti of a different color, that drop shadow appears on the inside, but it does not appear on the outside. So that's what helps give the interior areas a little bit of dimension, but still allow the customer to add their own drop shadows later. In addition, this canvas was also trimmed, but because I scattered confetti all over it, it didn't trim it very much. So let's close out of that. And let's run the 3-paper action. It works the same way. We'll be prompted to open 3 different papers this time. And when it's done, we can go ahead and paint a stroke of it there, one there, and one there. Let's zoom in here. Now you'll see we've got 3 different colors of confetti that we've got sprinkled on this page. And from here we can go ahead and either merge those layers and pull them onto our layout with the drop shadows already on there, or hide them if we are going to include them in a kit. So there we go, continue. Let's call this one Confetti 3. And this one even demonstrates better. You can see the drop shadow right here, but there's no outer drop shadows there. And the confetti's been trimmed down to fit the canvas. So that's how the confetti maker works. I hope you have fun adding little bits of confetti onto your layouts or into your kits. Thanks for watching this episode of Learn It.